Hey, welcome to Film vs. Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Chris Shurr.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and given Mike Pence's January 6th flashbacks by public opinion. And one of us tells you why it's actually pretty good.
And the other one's going to tell you why it's a steaming pile of shit.
And today, we are debating Olympus Has Fallen, one of two White House attack movies that came out in 2013.
Was it Obama? Like, I was sitting there thinking and I was like, was this a reaction to like people are upset at Obama? And they're like, whoa, what if we did a movie where the White House got destroyed?
That may be part of it. I don't know. Sometimes, because this is what's called a twin movie, where two movies with very similar concepts come out within a year of each other. So a few months after Olympus Has Fallen came out, White House Down came out. But sometimes twin movies just happen. The thing is, sometimes they're high concept enough where it's just like you can kind of imagine more people actually came up with this idea, but these were the two movies that got produced.
I always kind of pictured it was studio execs trying to screw each other over, where they're like, oh, you're making a White House getting blown up movie? Well, we can get it out faster.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if something like January 6th happened that year and then two different studios were like, oh no, we have to push this back.
Quick in post, try and make all the North Koreans look like Republicans. Give them MAGA hats.
Yeah, it was like, but not too obvious Republicans, because we still want Republicans to go see this movie. Plot, we open on Mike Banning, who is a Secret Service agent protecting the president. They're at Camp David, which is where the president is spending time away from the White House. They caravan on the way to a gala, but they hit ice. The president's vehicle goes off a bridge. Banning is able to save the president, but the first lady dies in the accident.
Got something to say about that rescue. I feel like they didn't put enough weight on top of the rear of the car. Like, they should have had Secret Service agents jumping up onto the rear of the car to keep it balanced.
I was about to say, but then the Secret Service agents could die, but it's like, actually, that is kind of their job.
That's their whole thing.
Like if the president dies and you didn't do your job.
Look, I'll give them credit. Like, that's a tough situation.
Yeah.
But they didn't seem to be like hopping enough.
Yeah. Also, I imagine like there are definitely some presidents and vice presidents who are just dick behind the scenes.
Oh, you think they wanted to kill the first lady?
No, I don't think they wanted to kill the first lady, but sometimes it is hard to be like, oh, I gotta sacrifice my life for this. I'm mainly thinking of this because I just started the show Paradise, which is about Sterling K. Brown plays a Secret Service agent, and the president keeps making racist remarks.
Oh, Jesus. Is it good?
It's pretty good so far.
Is it like a thriller, or is it more of like a historical piece?
Thriller.
Okay. Modern day?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Back to Olympus Has Fallen. So 18 months later, Banning is on desk duty at the Treasury. And that day, the president has a meeting with the South Korean prime minister to discuss the ongoing war between South Korea and North Korea. But the security detail for South Korea is actually a North Korean terrorist group that launched a coordinated attack to take over the White House, keep the president and some of his cabinet members hostage. And so in all the mayhem, Manning ends up in the White House as the only trusted security that's keeping in contact with the Pentagon as their eyes inside.
Yeah. The president boofed it. If he had just listened to his Secret Service agents, none of it would have worked.
Yeah, because like as the Secret Service agents are taking him to a bunker, they're about to leave the entire South Korean security detail. But then the president's like, no, they come with us, which I get, if you're trying to strike a deal, not the best move to leave the guy in full danger. But also the Secret Service guys are doing this for a reason.
You take the president and the president only. No, not the president of South Korea, the prime minister.
Yeah.
You take the individual, So it's not a diplomatic nightmare, but you leave all the fucking people. All the security, they can duke it out and they can join the Secret Service in their defense.
Yeah. Which also, I think we also have to comment on the fact, like, a big role in this attack was this fighter jet flying into DC, which is very restricted airspace.
It was an AC-130 you could have packed that thing with so much explosives. Like,
yeah, and so like the two Air Force jets come alongside and it's just like, we're gonna knock you out of the airspace. You're already over DC.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I went to college in the DC area. I had friends in like the aerospace program. I remember talking to them. It's just like, yeah, if you tried that, you're getting shot out of the sky over the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, there would be like reasonably 5 planes behind them.
Yeah.
Once it would have been a big scramble. Once they made it over DC proper, there would have been so many planes. After 9/11, if this was a movie in like 1997, this might have been believable. But after 9/11, really? Like, no, this is bullshit.
Yeah, because like before 9/11, you hear stories of like kids being able to go into a cockpit and press a bunch of buttons.
I got my picture taken in the cockpit. Gotta love that pre 9/11 plane travel.
Yeah.
They just like kids fly the plane. Yeah, they would have been shot out of the fucking sky.
Yeah, pre 9/11, when you can bring a soda onto a plane that didn't cost like $5.
Yeah.
Back to the plot. The leader of the terrorist group, who is in the bunker with the president and cabinet members, he's in contact with the Pentagon and demands they withdraw U.S. troops from South Korea. And then with Manning inside the White House, is essentially Die Hard in the White House.
Yeah. It becomes clear like within a second it's Die Hard.
Yeah, he has an earpiece with the satellite phone to keep in contact with the Pentagon. He just kills terrorists while he's in there. At some point, there is a former Secret Service agent who like is a traitor allied with the North Korean. He comes out to try to like take down Manning. They get a fight. Manning kills him, but gets him to have a guilty conscience and tell them that he's dead. So they stop sending guys after him.
I don't think he used that advantage that well. He ended up just being like, I'm alive.
I mean, he did use it to sneak around. He took out a gun. He got into their bunker.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But in the bunker, so the terrorists plan to use secret codes from the president, secretary of defense, and chairman of chiefs to set off all the nukes in the country while they're in their silos, which would decimate the U.S.
Which, like, the whole thing was they're like this program called Cerberus is designed where if you decided you didn't want to nuke after the missile is launched, you could like blow them up in the sky. For some reason in the president's head, he was like, well, so long as we don't launch the missiles, they would never use it.
Yeah. And then also, so they start interrogating and torturing the other two to try and get their codes. And the president's like, just give them the codes before they kill you. And he keeps saying like, they'll never get mine because he thinks he can withstand torture better than them.
These are they were in the military.
Yeah. And he keeps saying that, but then like they get the other two codes and they just figure out his.
They use like an algorithm.
Yeah, they're like, actually, once we have two, it becomes incredibly easy.
We can get it done in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
3 was 15 days. These codes that control all of the nukes, they were like eight characters long.
Yeah, it feels like if someone were to give you a combination lock and they're like, I'll give you the first 2 numbers because you'll never guess the last one. And you're just like, well, I have time to go through 40 numbers. So let's do it.
It's fucking dumb.
So yeah, they put in the codes. They activate the nukes. Manning manages to break into the bunker and kill the leader and disarm the nukes before they go off. And so the movie ends with Manning back on presidential detail, regaining his trust.
You notice in that plot, you did not even bring up Banning's wife.
Yeah, Bang has a wife who's a nurse and is just concerned for him.
Yeah, like they say goodbye, and then he calls her, and then he goes into the White House, and then she is at the hospital.
Yeah. I guess I should also mention another thing Bang did. The first thing he did in the White House was get the president's son out of there so that they couldn't capture him and use him as leverage against the president.
You can't remake Die Hard without a wife. They just didn't make them estranged was the real issue.
Yeah, because in Die Hard, there's at least like the sub story of he becomes reconnected with his wife and they realize how much they love each other. In this version, is like, yeah, she's just concerned the whole time, and then she finds out he's alive.
She's like, yeah, I'm having a busy day and I'm a little worried.
Yeah, because she is an ER nurse, so like it's a terrorist attack. She's very busy.
They had an AC-130 just firing off 135 millimeter cannon rounds directly into parks, buildings. There were people getting limbs blown. It was a big attack.
Yeah.
I'd say the attack succeeded and they should have just left.
Yeah, like I think in the grand context of this world, we haven't seen the sequels to this movie. This should be considered a second 9/11.
Yeah, no, it's like bigger than 9/11. They took the White House.
Yeah.
Actually, 9/11, they burned the Pentagon to the ground. Never mind. This was equal to 9/11.
Yeah. All right. So this movie was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who also directed hits such as Training Day and the Equalizer movies. It was written by the writing team of Creighton Rothenberger and Caitlin Benedict. They also worked on the sequels. Their biggest credit outside of this franchise is The Expendables 3. Despite taking place in DC, this movie was most shot in Louisiana, and because of this, they relied super heavily on CGI. There were a lot of parts that were just clearly CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at some point, they had the falling American flag image. The flag was clearly CGI.
Yeah.
Which does seem crazy. It's just like, yo, you couldn't splurge for an American flag to just drop in front of a green screen?
Yeah, it's a little nutty.
Yeah. And then
Also, wait, since you just brought up The Equalizer, I would have rather had Denzel than Gerard Butler in that role.
Yes, part of me thinks Denzel was just like too old to be like the main Secret Service guy at that point.
Okay, maybe. How old was Denzel in 2014?
Uh,
He was doing The Equalizer 2 around then.
Yeah, but part of the point of the Equalizer is that he's kind of old. In 2014, Denzel was 60.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a little too late.
Yeah.
For an active soldier. Or for an active, like, agent.
Which I think younger Denzel would have been great.
Yeah. Man on Fire Denzel would have just, like...
Too bad Antoine Fuqua didn't get this script immediately after Training Day.
Yeah.
But according to special features of this movie, producers claim that the attack sequence was planned by former Secret Service agents when they were asked how they would plan an attack on the White House. Which, like, I feel like is kind of a bullshit answer because watching the movie, there are parts where you're just like, this shouldn't work. And then also, I feel like actual Secret Service agents wouldn't give the whole thing away.
They probably said some very basic stuff where they're like, all right, yeah, you'd need like to respond to the initial push. You need a team inside that goes down to the bunker with the president. You would want some sort of like heavy machine guns firing directly onto the lawn, and you would need air support.
Yeah.
I could see that, but yeah, they probably weren't like, there's actually a secret hallway that goes from the Wendy's across the street directly into the presidential bunker.
Yeah, they can't give away all the secrets. Which, like, I think the film made up the secret tunnels they use, or I believe there are secret tunnels.
No, that's a real thing.
Well, yeah, I believe there are secret tunnels in the White House, just like not in the exact layout.
Did you watch The Residence?
No.
Oh, it was like a crime mystery thing on Netflix about a murder in the White House. And it was supposed to be like Knives Out. they aren't getting a sequel. Unfortunately, I really liked it.
Oh yeah, I think I was about to watch that. Then I heard it got canceled. And I was just like, I don't want it to end on a cliffhanger. And I'm just
There's no cliffhanger. They close it.
Oh,
it's
great.
actually it's a good watch. Especially you can like do a little bit of something else while you're watching.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Back on my list then.
Like I rewatched it when I was bored. It was good.
Yeah. And then a fun fact, some of the TV ads included the emergency broadcast tone. However, broadcasting that for a non-emergency breaks federal law. So as a result, Viacom, ESPN, and NBC Universal got fined $1.93 million for airing that. Which, like, I feel like that's something you gotta know and look up.
It honestly might be one of those things where it just like didn't quite come up and they just ran the ad through.
Yeah, but I feel like someone at the broadcast station should know that. Like because if they got a movie trailer where they just said fuck 300 times, they'd be like, oh, we can't put that on TV. You gotta re-edit this trailer. But getting this, I feel like someone's red flag should have gone up.
The thing is, there's alarms in other. It's just that specific one. They might have dealt with a few alarm sounds in advertisements and like didn't connect it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. There probably should be someone who remembers that at Viacom.
Which also, I think they need to make the same law about sirens being played over the radio. Like when you're in a car and like a song has sirens in it, it's like I'm suddenly panicking. And I just hate the artist.
Oh my God, Belton. I used to drive from Connecticut to Denver, and the way I would do it is I'd be by myself and I'd take just buttloads of Adderall. So like 8 hours in, I'd start getting kind of paranoid, and I was listening to a lot of dubstep at that point. And a big thing in dubstep is they'll like sound the alarm during a drop. And they kept dropping police, and I'd be like, fuck. Oh, shit. One time in Memphis, I just got off the highway. I was freaking out so much.
All right. So this movie came out March 22nd, 2013 on a budget of $70 million. It made $170 million at the box office. It currently stands at a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. And as mentioned, this got 2 more sequels in the series. London Has Fallen and Angel Has Fallen.
Are they doing a new one too?
Yeah, I read they're planning a new one. Not sure when it's supposed to come out.
Gerard Butler's got to be close to 60 at this point.
Yep, he is 56.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's bad. Going to be bad, but it may be bad.
I mean, as long as it keeps making money, I'm not sure the studio cares.
Yeah. Who's the fanboys of this franchise? How, like, I had heard of this movie. I didn't know they had sequels. And now they're having like a reboot, essentially. Who's like chomping at the bit for Olympus Has Fallen?
I don't know. I remember when London Is Falling came out, people were joking. It's just like, oh man, how many cities are going to go down in this franchise? And then Angel Has Fallen came out, and no one can make the same joke because we don't know what Angel means unless you watch the movie.
They should have just kept doing cities.
Just taking out regular cities. Like, okay, eventually the president's just going to be stopped, invited to places.
Yeah, like I want Canton, Ohio Has Fallen. Give me Honolulu Has Fallen. That'd be interesting. Maybe it's just about Gerard Butler fighting a volcano.
I was about to say, do Air Force One Has Fallen, but that's already a movie.
Yep. What is that?
Air Force One.
Oh, yeah. Camp David. It's crazy you only have one place to go.
And it's like, what if you don't like the woods? Where you go? What if you want to go skiing?
What if you're allergic to ticks? But then again, yeah.
I don't know. Every so often, president should just be allowed to close down a beach, pull off a Chris Christie.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for our opening statements. I will be defending the film and Chris will be attacking.
Olympus has fallen, more like my eyes have fallen due to this being a very clear scroll your phone film. Look up, explosion, look down, something actually interesting. The plot was ludicrous and the lines were janky. You know what also fell during that movie? My view of Gerard Butler as an action star.
Olympus Has Fallen delivers everything you want out of a summer blockbuster. It's action-packed with fun sequences that give you permission to turn your brain off. The cast didn't have to go that hard, but they did for us, so be grateful.
First of all, Belton, I do not need permission to turn my brain off. It's off a majority of the time. Movies are supposed to spark it on. My first comment is it had its like own version of being overly quippy. Like they went for way too many like action tough guy lines and they did not hit a lot of the time.
Okay, yeah, I definitely give it. It does something that I call so many lines are competing to be the coolest line in the movie.
Yeah,
but I think like they when action movie, because this is just a heightened reality. I do feel like they established that early on, and with the way the attack goes, you're like, all right, we gotta suspend our disbelief a little bit for this to happen.
Oh yeah, I get that, but like, it's also they did it too much. Like they took it way too far.
It follows the rule of cool.
No, that's the thing. It wasn't cool. It didn't. If they had done like 30% as many cool guy lines, those 30% would have been cooler than the 100% of the lines they had. It was the kind of thing where I felt like Gerard Butler was going to close a door and he's like, bang, there, now case closed or something. Like he was just butt fucking quips into there and cool guy lines.
Well, I mean, that's part of like the appeal of these movies because a huge part of it is a power fantasy where like people, especially men, can just self-insert themselves into a character and live as an action hero.
Yeah, but like Die Hard did that and they did it well. This did that and they did it poorly. That's my point.
Die Hard, where they originate, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, it was great. Everything about Die Hard is great.
Okay, well, if we compare every action movie to Die Hard, that's gonna be a struggle. Let's let this stand on its own.
This podcast is called "Now We Compare Every Action Movie to Die Hard." Look, if you recreate Die Hard in the White House, you open yourself to comparisons, Belton. You do, I swear.
No, but I think like that is just kind of the fun with this genre, that you can have characters let loose a bit and give quips that you wouldn't normally do in such a serious situation. I also don't think it was like Marvel level where they're like every moment has to try to be funny, and that's why the quips are in there.
That's why I called it its own version of overly quippy. Marvel tries to turn everything into a joke, like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Like they're trying to recreate that magic a lot of the time. I feel like this is quippy where it's not funny. It's supposed to be like badass. Like everything has a line, and it just it washed out. It washed out the coolness, Belton.
I feel like part of the coolness is that like Gerard Butler will just kill a guy and then feel so casual.
Okay, yeah.
And again, like it does a good job like establishing the initial suspense of disbelief. Also, like away from all the action sequences, like the stuff in the where the people in the Pentagon that bunker, like that actually kept the story going. I did not. I feel like in a lesser action movie, that would have been the part that drags on. And when it pops up on screen, you're like, okay, get back to the White House stuff. But no, I think all the actors in there did a really good job. It was an interesting story, and it was fun to watch them.
I'll give you that. I think that Morgan Freeman's character needed more agency. Like, I just wanted him to take a bit more action. I know that doesn't work when you're sitting at a desk, but if you're going to toss Morgan Freeman in front of me, then I like want more.
I get what you're saying, but I also I got the impression from his character that this was someone who wasn't really ready to step into the leadership position. Like because for context, Morgan Freeman plays the Speaker of the House. So because the president and vice president are not in a position to lead the country with sound mind, he is the acting president. And so I feel like he's someone where he basically spent his congressional power opposing the president, and now he has to suddenly have that responsibility. And that to me was an interesting character to have in the mix of all of this, to suddenly have to take charge and take more responsibility than they intended.
Okay, I'll give you that. I think that's a good synopsis of his character. I just wish he said, "You're out of line" once. I want him more like, "You're out of line." Just like be it, just like a 5% more dominant.
I mean, I felt like he was like that when he suddenly came to this. When he came to the decision to pull the troops out, because everyone in the room was opposing him. Because also Angela Bassett plays the head of the Secret Service, so they have their own tips. She does great, and apparently she only accepted this role to work with Morgan Freeman, which job well done.
Yeah, I would have done that too. I also think they made everyone in the Pentagon look too weak. I think, like, I don't know, maybe I'm being unrealistic, but I just kind of took issue with all of these people in the Pentagon being like, well, if the president dies, America collapses. Like, it just seems like they put way too much weight onto saving the president's life.
No, that makes sense to me. Having an active president assassinated by terrorists advocating for a specific political policy overseas, that would make America look weak.
It already makes America look weak. That's my point, is trading the president's life for your ability to influence an entire region that you already gave a promise to maintain makes you look weak as shit. That was like my thing, where I was like, every time I watched I understand, like, I probably wouldn't just let the president die if I were in their position. It's like a very easy choice to make from the couch, but not so much when you're in it. But they just did stuff where I'm like, oh, they're giving the whole game away constantly. The president more so. Fuck the president is stupid, awful decisions. Oh, we're going to save this one person who's actively in the military and accepted these important command codes. Like, he had to know that he would rather die than give them up.
Yeah, but I mean, also, I'm thinking about, like, everything that would happen in the U.S. if the president was killed by a terrorist. Like, I think chaos in the U.S. would happen. Because I mean, think about how many conspiracy theories there are about JFK's assassination. Now imagine the president's killed by someone we know it is working for a foreign government. Like, I think distrust in the government would be at an all-time high, and it would be difficult for anyone to get something done.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the president, but I think that's letting a single guy just command your military makes you look weak. And that was one of the issues.
Yeah.
You heard me. I was yelling at him. I was screaming at the TV, being like, come on. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like some of the unrealistic, just to keep going, I didn't like some of the unrealistic military stuff. It's kind of crazy to fly a plane into Washington, D.C. It didn't make any sense that the White House had heat-seeking missiles versus radar-guided missiles. And the paramilitary fanatics probably wouldn't respond to torture.
Again, we're going by a rule of cool. I think the jet going to restricted area, I think that's something where, in order for the plot to happen, you kind of have to do something unrealistic. Because this is a crazy scenario of them essentially destroying the White House, but I think after that it is really what makes the coolest action sequence, and that's what they roll with. Because when you're starting with something as unrealistic as a jet just flies into DC, the entire country's security detail is overrun with terrorists, like you kind of have to roll with that.
Yeah, it took me out.
Yeah, I
think there is a different terrorist plot.
I mean, would you rather them do something completely unrealistic at the beginning, and then they're just realistic for the rest of the story?
I would have rather. I don't know. That's a good point. I'm not sure. I don't think they were all that realistic during the movie, though. It's still blown out action.
Well, yeah, that's my point. It's blown out action because that's what's fun.
Yeah. But also, it just took me out. I was like, okay, this is going to be a silly movie.
Yeah, no, I will say also with all the security detail background check, it does feel like this movie could only exist in a world where the U.S. government genuinely believes every Asian looks alike. There's no other way, because I know people who have worked on media crews that have done interviews at the White House, and it's you have to go through so much security stuff. There's no way you're getting that close to the president without a thorough background check. Yeah,
probably not. I think they could have maybe just done it like Attack on Camp David.
Honestly, that would have made sense. Oh yeah, usually they plow that road, but they made it extra icy so that all the vehicles would slip.
Have it be set in Seoul or Seoul? How do you Seoul or Seoul?
I want to say it's Seoul, but I think that's only because I once heard of a Southern and then South Korea fusion restaurant that was called Soul Food Kitchen.
Yeah, but you could have done it there and everything would have been a bit more realistic. You wouldn't have gotten the imagery.
That would have made more sense. Honestly, maybe that's the next sequel. Just have it. I mean, they already did it in a foreign country with London Has Fallen.
Yeah. Are you sure they're not an Angel in North Korea?
Now I'm curious. Where is Angel Has Fallen?
Angel? No, that one's set in America. My guess is Angel is like a space station.
It's still in the DMV area. Angel Has Fallen. They're just having a nice little trip.
You mean the demilitarized zone, right?
No, I mean the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So they're back in America.
Yeah. They can only fall in so many foreign cities.
CGI wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as USS Indianapolis.
Yeah. I feel like there were some parts that were better. It wasn't consistent though.
Yeah. The flag was pretty egregious. The Washington Monument falling down looked all right. Do you think they'd rebuild the Washington Monument? Or do you think they just put something else there?
It depends how much of it is standing. Because I think the way they depicted in this movie is at least half of it's still up. I think you rebuild that.
Yeah.
If it was the whole thing, I think let's come up with a new Washington Monument. I don't think George Washington would have liked it anyway. Yeah, but I mean, with the CGI, I do think it's inconsistent. It was really a lot of stuff where in my head I'm like, I can't believe this is CGI. Like the flag falling, I'm like that. You could have just done it somewhat practically. I guess it wouldn't fall like perfectly the way you want, but it's like you could get string and green screen, make it look better, but then. But it's like the Washington Monument, I didn't mind as much as because it's like, yeah, that's how you're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but with that, I will say it's like maybe they could have done miniatures, bring that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like when you watch Independence Day and they blow up the White House, that it's like that hold up pretty well because they blew up miniatures.
Yeah. I guess those are like peak CGI time. Post what was the big CGI movie? Avatar?
Yeah.
What was that? 2000?
That was 2009.
Okay, yeah. Everyone was like, CGI's the future. We're gonna go crazy with the CGI.
Yeah, and then the Avengers came out the year before, and Marvel was like, we're going to use CGI for everything.
Yeah.
Which I will say, when you look at some of the behind the scenes stuff for Marvel is egregious with the CGI.
Well, it looks so good in the earlier Avengers. Like the first Avengers looks great.
Yeah, but then you look at some of the later stuff, it's just like, oh yeah, we use CGI on his hood because when he turns his head, it naturally creases, and we don't like that.
Yeah, it's become like a post-production tool versus like a, or it's always been but it's become like a repair tool almost.
Yeah, and
they underpay everyone who works in that industry.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One thing I will say, I do think like, I mean, we talked about like with Die Hard, there's the story of him and his wife coming together. They didn't have him and his wife really like work on anything here. I do think the hardest story of him regaining the president's trust worked.
Yeah. They could have just had the wife at the beginning saying bye. He calls her on the phone, and then they just cut her from the movie. There's no cuts to the hospital or anything.
Yeah, true. Although I do think like when they're rescued, because the president reunites with his son, I think it would have been like kind of sad to see the president and his son fully embrace, happy to see each other, and then this guy's just standing there alone.
But that's the job. That's like reflective of being a Secret Service agent, I feel like.
No, yeah, it's the job, but they're still people with lives. He's not in the Men in Black.
I don't know. Secret Service exists to throw themselves in front of the president and protect our currency. They're in charge. They handle forgeries. So I don't know. It's very fitting. Like his job was complete. He saved the president.
Yeah, but I mean, considering that the theme is like regaining trust and them also reconnecting, it would feel weird to just have him be alone in that moment.
Yeah. I hated the president in this movie. I hated all his decisions. As a character, they just made him look weak. Okay,
I'll agree with that.
It's just like the entire time you're like, how'd you even become president? You have no ability to like weigh risks.
Honestly, I think I could have let a lot more go if he didn't keep telling the other two to just give him the code, and he's like, they'll never get it from me. It's like, you are arrogant.
They weren't even going to kill him because then they could have never gotten the code. He just had to play the bluff, and he folded so fast. They barely got beat up. That woman got punched like 5 times.
That's true. She took some hits. Like the president should have taken more of a beating.
Yeah. I would have been pissed if I was her. I would have been like, you know what? Even though everything worked out, fuck you, Mr. President. I was about to do my duty, and what if we had all died? We would have been stuck in this fucking bunker in nuclear America. It would have been miserable.
I know. Everyone's just living like it's Fallout while the rest of the world is fine.
No, the rest of the world would be dead.
Oh, yeah. That would also be bad.
They would have exploded in the earth, so it would have just been radioactive dust across the entire planet. It was a stupid plan. I love they're like, we're not going to use the thing that launches nukes. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it's a thing with movies where they don't fully think about like nuclear and radiation fallout unless it's really relevant. It's like how The Dark Knight Rises ends with like Batman taking the bomb away from the city, and everyone's just like, oh, they would still die from the radiation. That's not far enough.
Fucking hate that movie because of that scene specifically. It's so dumb. Like he goes off into the sunset moment so badly. They just made something that makes no sense.
And now it's time for our concessions. This is where Chris gives 3 things she likes about the movie, and I give 3 things I don't. My first one, the villain isn't that compelling. He's just sort of generic terrorist, wants to do something. And it's like, I know they gave him a personal backstory, but none of it feels like it's being used in his character.
Yeah. They tried to set up like the John McClane versus Hans?
Yeah, Hans Gruber.
And it just didn't quite hit. They didn't have the chemistry or something.
Yeah, because also, like, I mean, in Die Hard, John McClane and Hans Gruber have sort of a unique relationship for a hero villain, but also Hans Gruber was smart and calculating. They do not make this guy as smart.
They play him as smart, but his actions are questionable.
Yeah, I think it feels more that like people around him are dumb.
And at like multiple points, he comes off as a coward almost.
Yeah.
Did I say the action and the fighting were great? No. Okay, this is my first. Yeah, the action and the fighting were great. All the explosions, all the fighting. I felt like the fighting wasn't overly anime-ish. It kind of felt like 2 soldiers fighting.
Yeah, because they also had good variety. They had like gun shootouts and hand-to-hand stuff, and then other ways where he's just sneaking around.
And like sometimes it went fast, sometimes it went slow. Like it came down to how much of the jump he had on the people.
Yeah. All right. My next one, they should play around with the Secret Service agent that was a traitor more, because I say it before, there is a part where he goes out the bunker to try and derail Bang's plans. The problem is in the scene where they meet up, Bang believes he's still fighting against the North Koreans because yes, that is the logical conclusion from his perspective. But it's like within a minute, he accidentally reveals himself to be a traitor. And I think they could have played with that suspense a lot more.
Yeah, they also didn't explain why he betrayed America.
Yeah,
he just went, I lost my way.
He just tells the president, it's like, you've done worse things. It's like, okay, like what? And I think that just kind of goes into like, this is a political thriller that doesn't want to be political.
He could have just been like, you know how I like my women, skinny. He's like, North Korea is the place for me. I really felt the terror of the attack. They didn't really hold back on that. That was like civilians being shot down by 3 separate cannons on a plane is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And they made it clear that it was like a very cruel, I don't know.
Yeah.
Destructive.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely agree. They did make it like really suspenseful and scary. They did a good job of like putting some beats in there.
Yeah.
All right. My last one, outside of banning the president and a couple other characters, a lot of these guys just don't really feel like they have much personality. Like I said, like the terrorist group, they just seem like just people they needed for the plot, and it's like, other than the main guy, everyone wears a mask, so it's like they're trying to give everyone the stormtrooper effect, where it's just like, oh yeah, these are faceless goons, you don't care if they die. But it's like, okay, we got to know one of them, but it's like you just don't want to make them actual characters.
Yeah. Finally, I like the lead terrorist. I thought he was kind of fun. I like the screaming and I don't know, like he felt like he could really easily call the president a capitalist dog. And that's what I want out of my terrorist who took over the White House.
Yeah, I will say, I think the actor was good. I think I just wanted more from everything else around him.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for our closing statements.
You want me to start?
Yep.
Olympus Has Fallen is mediocrity that also felt generic. They may have succeeded in stringing together a few good moments, but unfortunately things break at the weakest point, and this film was all weak links. I give it 2 out of 10 rabid American capitalist dogs baking in the nuclear annihilation of their own creation.
Olympus Has Fallen is a great political thriller as long as you're not a nerd. It holds tension and suspense very well and uses the illogic to its advantage. I give it 3 stacks of blood money.
I'm not a nerd, Belton! I'm not a nerd! I swear I'm not one! I play video games. Oh shit, that's nerd stuff. I play softball, okay? I'm a jock. I'm a jock, Belton. I had friends in high school. All right. Well,
this has been another episode of Film versus Movie. Be sure to follow us and give us 5 stars wherever you listen. I'm Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Shurr.
And we will see you all next time.
Thank you.